And we're back. I don't expect anyone to be here at 1:59 a.m., but I promised I was going to stream the whole thing. I'm back to working on this. We're going to start right where I left off, which was working on the squirt gun. What's up, Arturo Gonzalez? How's it going? Wow, can't believe you're up right now. Anyway, so let's just try to make something that looks similar to these designs, and we can tweak it later. We're working on the Ludum Dare game jam. Scale the handling like that because these are usually not the best. Like squirt guns aren't usually supposed to be the highest quality materials or anything. It's just like molded plastic. The handles aren't super comfortable or anything. Let's see. Maybe something like... And we can always change the size of the handle and stuff later. This is so interesting. It's probably boring for most people, but I don't know. We're doing the game jam. We gotta get all this stuff done. There's our handle right there. Hit QC to make it nice and beveled, rounded edges. It's only if you're using hard ops, though. I'm gonna look up some reference for some squirt guns. Let's see. I like this one out of these designs the best. Maybe this. Maybe we do a cylindrical tank, though. Yeah. How do you make a cape move? That I don't know. I'm not familiar with cloth sim stuff in Unreal at all. Right, so I think we want to take like a mixture of this and maybe do like a cap here with a cylinder, but have like the cool tube kind of shape going on. So let's go ahead and get to work on that. So I need to keep my eyes on Zoom to see when he stops watching this stupid video so I can actually hang out with them. And since this is going to be a solid object, what's up, Sam? How's it or what's up? Oh, Tamil, what's up, status videos? Oh, you're a different person with a similar icon. I'm very tired, by the way. This is going to be a long night, maybe. I might just go to bed and work on it tomorrow. Let's see. So the beauty about this is that the topology doesn't have to be great because it's a solid object. What's up, Dango Mango? The one. The topology doesn't have to be great. We can just straight up triangulate that, and it looks like a total mess. It is a total mess. We'll triangulate it after we finish the bevel or apply the bevel, but you get the point. It doesn't really matter. We're gonna extrude this out like that, and I think we want this to be a little bit. Yeah, out jogged. So maybe I don't think we want to just scale it out like that. I think we want it to actually be extra subdivisions. We are creating a game, Tamil. It's for the game jam. I'm working on it with a team. I'm in charge of most of the logic. Alright, so I want that to jut out, I think. I'm thinking we want to divide that like that and connect faces here, and that'll give us extra geometry to work with for the jutting out part. Yeah, just like that. And then we're going to invert the normals. Like that. Am I going to upload in Play Store? No. No, this is a VR game. It's for Ludum Dare. Ludum Dare is a game jam, which means we have 72 hours to create a game from scratch. Game jams can be of various lengths. This one just happens to be 72 hours. And we decided to create a VR game. It'll be free to download online.
He's got to just yay or nay it, and I can
Oh,
tell me how I'm doing the rest of it.
Is that a yay or is that a nay? That sounds like a nay.
Oh, I just got in because I was waiting till you finished that video.
Yeah.
No,
Chris, I'm calling it a night, but
no, you're not.
God damn it.
I know you're not, and you know you're not.
Shh. I like lying to myself. What do you think of those trees? Or am I
And
putting too much effort into them?
I didn't see him.
They're in Slack.
It's interesting.
There's hope.
Are you watching a video again, David? No copyrighted content on my Christian Minecraft stream.
Calm down. All right, I'm going to bed, Christian.
Oh, you're all going to bed?
I have to. It's 2 a.m. I'm gonna wake up early.
I just restarted the stream.
I know.
Okay.
It's gonna be awesome.
I have somebody at meeting early, and I have to do laundry before I meet them because I have like no clean clothes. So I have to
Whatever excuses, McGee.
I'm trying to adult properly.
Then why are you participating in a game jam at all?
I said I'm trying. Keyword trying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But no, seriously, so that I can whip them out in the morning.
Close.
Am I close or not close?
Not close.
I was picturing like taller kind of designs. I don't know.
Taller?
Yeah, like
Taller.
with branches.
Taller, more tree like.
Okay, so more detail.
Yeah,
Taller.
and more cartoony. I think, but like more illustrated, not because these look kind of 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So awesome.
I'm gonna be really picky. At the end of it, it's not gonna. It'll look good whatever you do.
Okay, no, you were fine. You were okay. I'm looking through all the different art references, and let's just say I'm trying to nail Little Big World with this one. But if that is too close, then and if I can back off, because I also did the flower, like the grass and flowers, and those are far simpler. And I just realized I had a couple of mistakes in them, so I didn't really want to show them. Again, my eyes have decided to quit on me, so I can only see half of what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I went super simple starting out with this.
Chris, if you want to work locally, and then tomorrow I'll
Run me through it.
Yeah, how to publish.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay. I love you all. Talk to you in the morning.
Good night.
Night, David.
Get sleep, all of you.
I'm gonna go for like another hour or two working on this squirt gun.
Nice.
Sweet. Chris, is that closer?
I like those grass pieces.
Awesome. I know what I'm doing now. Ow! Just kicked something. I'm gonna rest these eyes because they are useless now.
Good night.
Night, Chris.
I'll hop on the meeting with them tomorrow. I guess other people are gonna be up later. Yes. Anyway, we are a team. We are creating a game in 72 hours. We already spent a good portion. I don't know if any of you were here for that. We spent a good portion of time earlier tonight just hashing out ideas until we came up with an idea that we're happy with. Whether it's a good idea or a bad idea remains to be seen, but could be interesting. It's an interesting idea. Anyway, we need you don't always. The reason I'm making sure this is modeled connected like that is so it looks proper, since you're going to be holding it close up to your head. And then we can scale this in to make the trigger piece. Which you never want to, when you do this, you never want to put an edge loop in the center there, because now, look, this is not as thick. You don't have the right thickness. So if you're going to create an edge loop, create it all the way at the end and then move it out and rotate it so you have the same consistent thickness. And you can just move along like this. There's probably a much easier way to handle doing this. This is how I've always done it. I'm never up this late. Yeah, we're doing a game jam this weekend though, so it's gonna be a few late nights. Most likely. We want to... Oh, and then since this one is not connected and it doesn't really matter. I may need to change the size of this later too. What we can do is we can delete the intersecting faces because those are completely pointless, and we can make those rounded. And then notice that this is beveling too much over. And when everything is beveled using the bevel modifier, you can change individual edges width up here with the mean bevel weight. It's not nice bevel weight, it's mean bevel weight. What's up, Ghost Band? How's it going? Oh, that's a good start to our little super soaker water gun, whatever you thingamajig. Let's go ahead and create a tank. I like the cylindrical design better. We're not going to copy the super soaker too close because we don't want to get sued. We'll just like this. We'll make it less capsule shaped and more just cylinder shaped, maybe. And this is going to be a work in progress. We're going to push, we're going to pull, we're going to figure things out as we go. We should probably select both of those edges, though, and bevel them at the same time to make sure they're consistent. Stranger comment from the previous stream is on this stream. That's funny, JP Dawson. Yeah, I was playing with, I already had a full squad, but I appreciate it. Is this a new game you create? Yeah, so this is a game jam, Ghost Band. It's Ludum Dare. They give us a theme, and we have 72 hours to create an entire video game from scratch. We decided to make a VR game this time. So we'll inset this some, then make like the connection point for the fluid straw. We'll call it the fluid straw. I don't even know what it's called. Cool. Set that to smooth. We'll turn on some auto smooth just so it's sharp where it needs to be. And then what I'm thinking was last year's game. Oh, last year. So when we say last year's game, which that was also a VR game, yes. But when we say last year's game, that was actually a different game jam. We didn't do Ludum Dare last year. We did the winter UE4 jam, which is a game jam specifically for Unreal Engine users. We can make it like that big. So we could double up like this design right here, but I think it's fine not doing that. We need a connection piece, so I'm thinking we'll just use a curve for now. It's incredible. I'm up at 2 a.m. We're in the middle of a game jam. I gotta get work done. We only have 72 hours, and I already spent some time playing Fortnite, which I'm gonna have to do again tomorrow if I'm gonna make it to level 100. It's gonna be a huge balancing act this weekend in terms of actually getting stuff, everything that I want done. Level 100 in Fortnite is, I realize it sounds like a stupid goal, but it's important to me. So then we can add one more piece here, scale it up so it makes a better shape. And you might say, wow, Chris, that's just a line. You can't put fluid through just a line. We can bevel it like so. I think it probably sticks out a little bit far. And you're gonna be like, wow, Chris, that's really ugly. Just give me a second. No, it's not quite so ugly. It's passable. Chris can now experience his non-American viewers feel when they are up this late. I'm up this late on the weekends anyway, just not live streaming. And it's normal for me to be up until like 4 a.m. on the weekends. Can scale this down some, I think. We need we need a cylindrical cap on this end as well. What's up, Stoner Steve? How's it going? Then we can snap the cursor there. Blender has a cool concept called the 3D cursor, which is a point in space, and that's where every time you spawn something like a cylinder, we need 16 verts for that because it's going to be small. It spawns on the 3D cursor. Fortnite can pick up on this idea, call it the chug gun. Only in squads mode you can heal your teammates from afar. That would be interesting. It's like the medic gun kind of in TF2. Got a little bit bigger. Round it off some. Maybe even, we could maybe even like overlap the design, put this closer down to the handle. No, no, because that's where the hand's going to be gripping. That's awkward. Ergonomics 101. This reminds you of your inventor and AutoCAD course. It's similar kind of stuff, but way less accurate. Because in game development and CG, you can make things just look right. They don't have to actually be right. We're going to have to scale it down to the proper size in meters. Since we're doing VR and we want the scaling to be correct to real world scale. But other than that, we can do whatever we want and get away with it. Do I want like more of a square design or of a circular design? I don't know, it's starting to look like a squirt gun kind of. I think we want the band around it. That looks pretty cool. Maybe 2 bands. Like so we could do that. And if we select individual faces and we say individual origins, we can scale them both down individually like that. Move you over here. I think this tank might be able to, I don't know how I want that aligned. We might mess with that later. Anyway, we can take the 2 bands, we can duplicate them, separate them, and then add a solidify modifier. And we want to offset that positively, thicken it up. And we have like little bands for connection. That's pretty cool. Cool thing about Blender is at any time we can just check out what it looks like rendered. Very cool to see live. Appreciate that. This is probably boring for most people, but it's whatever. And then since this is a game, if this was a high poly like visual effects production or something, you'd probably have like subsurface on the plastic and all this would need to be modeled accurately to prevent any issues with the shading. But since this is a game, we can apply the solidify and we can delete all of the, see, none of these faces on the interiors of the rings are going to be visible because they're going to be colliding with the tank. So we can just delete those and it saves us on some faces. Cool. Let's see, where do we go next? I think we want like a little nozzle. 16's probably fine. We can always up it to 32 later. And we can sort of like just add a little bit of extra detail. And then we'll add like, we can add like a hole to it and stuff in texturing. This actually looks kind of bad. Man, where did I go wrong? I'm going to look at some more real life reference. Oh, kind of like that. So anyway, we need to add a spike to the base of this where we suck out the juice from the creatures. This is such a weird game that we're making. I can thicken this up a little bit, I think. I just didn't want to mess with getting the right thickness again, so I'm just going to redo that. That looks fine, I guess. I don't know. I kind of like the rounded design there, but it's whatever. So, what the actual Super Soaker design looks like is... So this would be like a piece that cocks it, although you're not going to be doing that in the game. We can use it as reference for design, potentially. We could add some pipes here to make it look more interesting. Oh, wow, that got triangulated. That's ugly. I feel like this should be beveled inward. If your work is popularly liked automatically, can big game developers have their eyes on you for projects in the future? I don't know. I think they're preoccupied remaking the same games over and over again to pay attention to the little guys. You can like sort of round that out maybe. That looks pretty nice. Then we can add some tubes. Make it sort of interesting. I kind of... Let's see. Maybe we could shorten the tank some and lengthen out the nozzle. Which we can delete all these extra edge loops now that we created for the extrusion, since the extrusions are a separate object. These are just unnecessary vertices. Just bogs down the engine more. Shorten that up a little bit. Maybe make that match up right there, and then we can turn this into like a long sort of thing like that. The reason I doubled up on the edge loop there is so I can do this and scale it out, and now it's like we have an extrusion. That's pretty cool. Smooth that out. Level it out. So there's no visual that shows the inlet feed besides the syringe and storage unit. No, we're not gonna have time to make anything super complex in terms of mechanics of the model, like anything actually physically interacting. So we're just gonna have like a stabby bit here. Just haven't even figured out what I want that to look like. Not quite like that. I want it to be shorter, maybe. You're just gonna go out of context. That probably looked really wrong. Overthinking anything can lead to overly dramatic results, which can sometimes lead to a failure. Make a duck? I'm working on the game jam, Richard. We're not making a duck game. We're building stuff for a specific game concept. Let's see. Maybe we should just start with a cylinder and do a cone for now. So we could make this kind of small like that. And then obviously it looks terrible without a connection point of some sort. I want to go back to median point so I can scale based on normal. We can probably make this handle a little bit shorter. to do that, we can just snap the cursor to that, and then select the rest of the handle, and scale based on 3D cursor. Just make it a little bit shorter. A nice thick syringe would look good since it's a bit of a proponent feature. What do you mean by nice thick syringe? Should I thicken this up some, do you think? Maybe give this an actual tip at the end instead of straight up merge down to nothing. I don't know. Needles, I guess, can be pretty narrow. It's not sharp enough. And we can sort of move this in just to give it some extra detail, which we could do in textures, but we can make it deep that way. Like the end of a juice box straw that goes into the box. That's an interesting idea. We can try it. I can put this on a separate layer as a backup. So what you're talking about is like more like that kind of thing, but so it's just like a sharp end of a straw. Oh shoot. Oh, bad idea. Oops. Not bad idea for what you're trying, what you think I should do. Just bad on me. Yeah, it'd be more like that. And then we can solidify that, so we can separate it and then add a solidify modifier. We don't want to make it too long, because then it's really awkward to like do this whole thing with. I think nice and short, but sort of spiky is good enough. I was kind of a fan of the spike, but what's the stream about today? Abrado, for the weekend, we're participating in Ludum Dare, which is a 72-hour game jam. It means we have 72 hours to create a game from scratch. Leave it hollow, and when you hit somebody, it sucks the ammo out of them. That is the idea, Richard. It's a blood super soaker, basically. So you're like a god who has these creatures that you created, your children or whatever. They're gonna be like these cute little geometric creatures, but there are demons kidnapping. So the theme of the game jam this year was there must be sacrifice. So we decided to make a game about sacrificing your own children to fight off the demons to prevent them from stealing more of them. Let you know if we need any software. Yeah, so the spike at the bottom here is to suck out the juices from your little kids. And they're going to say adorable things like, "Am I helping, Daddy?" When's it available? Oh my goodness. I mean, so it's a 72-hour game jam. We have to make an entire game in 72 hours. So I guess 72 hours from now is when it's available. Let's see. Let me move this up some. That looks halfway decent. Oh, well, we can, yeah, we can just take these and scale them out to curve it more. And do the same thing here. Oh, that looks messy. Is it like a competition? It is a competition. Who else is competing? And how would you sabotage them? You don't. It's just for fun. It's just for fun to make something. That's the whole point of it. There is not even a prize other than bragging rights. The whole thing is literally just for fun. I'm participating with theory. So they're helping me out with the art and stuff for the most part. And then I'm doing most of the logic and programming and stuff. That's weird. It's creating a pretty weird effect there. Is it gonna be playable? Yeah. It's VR though, so you'll have to have a VR headset to play it. Yeah, so we're just gonna add some pipes here now, or maybe a pipe, just a cylinder of some sort. That's honestly just to add some visual interest. We can put it at 32 verts and then scale it back later if need be. Of course, I think 2 pipes is gonna be the play here. For Oculus, yeah, it'll be for Oculus Rift and HTC Vive. Not Oculus Go. So what we can do here is apply object transform origin to geometry. So then we can delete one of these and say mirror on the y-axis. So now if whatever we do to one, it does to both, and that just saves us some time. You have a Galaxy VR, that will not work. That's mobile VR. This is going to require 6 degrees of freedom controllers as opposed to 3 degrees of freedom controllers. So the difference between a real like a VR or VR headset and a phone based VR headset or a mobile VR headset like Oculus Go is phone VR headsets only rotate. You can't move. You only get rotational data, not positional data. So, like VR headsets, they get positional data too, so you can move around in the 3D space and you can move your hands around and all of that tracks properly. So it's not like we're just leaving Galaxy out or anything. It's just that the technology's not there yet. And we can bring this down into the corners like that. And then we might be able to shrink the whole thing down some. Oh, it's not a bad size right now. It's starting to look like something. Ish. I don't like what's happening with this bevel right here. That's something weird. Even if we smooth, it's like still screwed up. You're so confused on how a game is made. We're streaming the whole thing. Jesus. So step 1 is get some basic art that we can use. Oh, this one's pretty cool too. The fluid tank is not gonna be transparent. That's just gonna be too much to deal with. So I'm gonna be doing game logic and stuff tomorrow at some point. And that'll be more game design than art. Oh, this is not looking half bad. We can change it to only render so we can actually get a good look at the gun. Not terrible. Especially for such a short time frame of a project. What's a shame? JP Dawson. Oh, what we could do maybe to fix this like weird bug is bevel these edges as well. It's always an option, I guess. This is a little bit strange. Oh, transparency, yeah. So transparency is an issue. It's something you want to use sparingly in VR anyway, because it's very expensive on the graphics. Because if you're rendering an opaque pixel, like if this object is opaque and it's in front of something, you only have to render that, figure out what that pixel is once. If it's transparent, you have to figure out twice. You have to render the transparent object and the thing behind it. So then if you have multiple transparent things, now you have to do it 3 times or 4 times or 5 times, and it just gets so much more expensive on the processor and GPU. Transparency is generally frowned upon in general in VR. Not saying don't use it at all, just be sparing about it. Why does this look so odd? Are there like extra vertices here or something? I don't think so. Let's try getting rid of the bevel on it. It's even worse. Okay, so I think this is a little bit confusing. I should have just kept those separate. I think we want to continue the bevel up from the handle. No sleep tonight? I'll sleep eventually. I was gonna go for an hour or two here. It's only been 38 minutes though of working on this. We want this to be like a nice smooth transition, but it is a game, so we don't want to go too high on the poly counts. I think that looks a little bit better than it did. It's still not perfect. I don't have time for this. All I think we can do is spread this out even more and then just bevel it. It feels steampunky. Weird. How many hours left? We have until Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. So we've got plenty of time. And it just kicked off this evening at 9 p.m. So I think we want to do any details to the handle here, probably in textures. Although it's going to be an object that's really close up to the camera. So we can detail it up some, and then maybe we can bake it as a normal map if we decide it's too polygon intensive. So let's go ahead and duplicate this as a low poly version, and then let's go crazy. And what we want to do is cut it in half and mirror it. So now, I kind of like this handle design. So we can take this, just all the flat parts, and inset it. Bring that up a little bit. And we're going to want to bevel this significantly less. Like, criminally less. Maybe like, just a tiny bit. How many are? Oh, you already asked that. And then what late is that? That is 0.45. And then these sharp corners are kind of ugly. So we can take it and fix that. And you'll notice that the bevel's in the wrong place now. These are at 0.18 for bevel weight, so we just want to match that. That looks pretty good. I should try to land a job at a big company like Epic or Triarch. I would love to work for Epic. I think that would be the most fun job in the world. Plus you get like a quarterly allotment of V-Bucks. But they only hire the best of the best. And that's not me. I'm a generalist. Those kind of companies hire specialists, people that are really, 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 really good at one thing. I'm like good enough at a lot of things. That looks kind of cool. Up this late. What's up, Pro Gaming? Yeah, working on the game jam. I got to get a really good start on this squirt gun. Okay, so now we need to work on the trigger, which should be easy enough. We might want to, I don't know if we're going to have time for it, but if we do, I want to rig this so that you actually see the trigger animate when you squeeze it with your fingers. That'll work. And then triggers typically have like this little nice extrusion here for ergonomics sake. Cool. You said my job was? Oh, I make animated promotional videos for a living at Bardo. And then I also do visual effects on the side. And I've developed my own VR game for fun that's on sale on Steam now. I want this to feel better. Whoosh. We're getting there slowly. Can I add color? We do that later. That's the next thing. After we get it modeled and unwrapped, then we texture it using completely different software. So this should have like a nice indent there. I probably won't get to color tonight. I might try to unwrap it tonight though. How long have I been doing this kind of stuff? Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. About 13 years. Which I don't have a whole lot to go on in terms of reference other than this. Which a lot of these details, if we want to add them, those will come later in texturing. We don't want to add too many fine cut details in this phase. This is a really cool design. We don't want to copy it too much or else it could get in trouble. Ooh, I do like that though. Looks kind of cool. Blood soaker, yes sir. Maybe increase the cap size a little bit. And then we can I'm a fan of just like adding subtle more indents like that, sort of like a layered cake approach. I don't know. It looks cool. Looks more grounded. Looks like a sniper. It's a pistol. It's gonna be pretty. And maybe if we decide to take this game any further, we can create additional guns to unlock or something. To start out with, just a pistol. Oh no, that's weird. Maybe match that. Yeah. Then gotta fill up the super soaker with milk. No, you fill it up with blood. That's what this is for. You stab it into the creature and it sucks the juice out of the creature. We have a game. So pro gaming, what we're doing is Ludum Dare, which is a game jam, which means we have 72 hours to create a video game from scratch. So I'm just creating assets for it right now, and then we're gonna get more to work tomorrow. This is really detailed. It's not looking bad though. What promotional videos do I do? It's for an engineering company called Automation Direct. I make any of their animated videos. Oh, I'm tired. I might call it quits here shortly. Maybe around 3. This was a pretty good start to the blood soaker. I think we can get this to be a little bit rounder though. Smoother transition. Same here. And then bring that in a tiny bit. Who else remembers the Nikkei 30 thing? I do. I don't know how I could forget something like that. Okay, so the reason this overlap is happening is because this vertice is overlapping where the bevel modifier is happening. So we're going to want to bring this in. We can always change this topology up after we apply the bevel modifier, and that'll help things a lot too. Only 90s kids would remember. You're funny. Yeah, so like these little indentations here, we can do that later in texturing. Or we can do it right now and then bake it onto the low-res version. So we can duplicate this again as our low-res version now. And let's add some detail. So what you might want to do is just cut this up like this. Add a bunch of cuts. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that'll work. And we can cut across like that. Then select every other one. Extrude it. We can turn clipping on for our mirror and then just drag those in. What clipping does is it prevents things from overlapping the median point on the mirror. So you can just drag these in, drag them up. I got some extra detail on our Super Soaker. And then we can delete these additional faces that are unnecessary. Looks cool. And then we can make it even more visible. The common way to buy industrial controls. Yes, sir. Oh, shoot. What happened here? It's a little bit odd. Huh. Yeah, so I don't think we need... Yeah, that works better. So then... Looks much better. What's up, Jaron Fernando? I appreciate that. I'm moving a little bit slower than normal. Just because I'm tired. Alright, we can take all these edges and bevel them some to make them stand out more. Because right now it's hard, if you're at a distance, it's hard to tell if anything's even there. Who's ready for Detective Pikachu? I think it'll be pretty interesting. So you can add bevel to those, but you're going to notice that's way too much bevel. So you can just down that a lot. And we're going to bake this onto the low poly. Nice. And you'll notice that these edges right here need to be brought down. And then we have a lot of freedom with the height of these. We can bring it down, we can bring it up. I'm thinking down, personally. Of course, maybe we can mess with the shape of this too. Just try to find something interesting and unique. So if we match this up with this line, that sort of works. Then we can add 2 subdivisions here potentially. Maybe even scale one in. You're curious to see the trigger function? I don't know if we're going to be able to actually do that. Like the gun will shoot when you pull the trigger on the motion controller. I'm going to be working on Oculus Rift. I also have an HTC Vive to test with too, though. These are the controllers the player is going to be holding, motion controllers, and you're just going to squeeze that trigger. And if we have time, that's a stretch goal, we'll make it so the hand actually properly reacts and stuff in VR. But otherwise, we're just going to make the gun shoot. And I think if we want to bring that in as well. That's kind of cool. I think, maybe. What are the mechanics and what is the game about? Oh, man, we spent 2 hours coming up with that earlier tonight in a stream. So, the theme for Ludum Dare this year was there must be sacrifice. Can I like blood splatter on it? We could. The creatures are gonna be blue though. The theme was there must be sacrifice. So the idea is you have a civilization that you created. You're like a god sort of character of these little creatures. They're adorable. They're like these squishy little blue geometric characters, and there are demons that come through portals to take them back to their dimension. Fortunately for you, the only thing. Yeah, I guess adding that makes it look more like this, but I think it's differentiated enough. I'm trying to mix this design and this design. Alright, the only thing that can kill the demons is the blood of your little creatures, so this is such a twisted game. You have to sacrifice some of your creatures to kill the demons. To prevent them from taking more of your creatures than you would normally lose through the sacrifice. And then you also have to manage your supply of creatures by making them reproduce using parts from the monsters that you kill. It's weird! It's really weird! But it's going to be really fun in VR. It's going to be really fun regardless, but it's good. I think it'll be fun. It'll be better once you actually see it in action. We have like a pretty good plan of action and everything. But yeah, that's what the spike here is. Like, you're gonna pick up one of the creatures and it's gonna say adorable things like "I love you," and then you're literally just gonna stab it and suck it into your gun so you can shoot the monsters. It's pretty messed up, but we're going for like a really cute, happy art style, so it'll sort of contrast the disgusting nature of it all. Is it as sad as when your Pikmin die? That would be a goal. I don't know if it'll actually end up being that sad. Is it like PS4 VR? No, it's Oculus Rift and HTC Vive. I don't have a PS4 development kit, so I can't get stuff to work on that. Yeah, that's How do I want to do this? Because I just want to model all the detail in, I think, and then just bake it. Will you stream yourself playing it? We'll be playtesting it a lot as we develop it. It'll be single player. We have 3 days to make an entire game, so it's the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. My dad taught me that. I think we can afford one more of these notches. It looks kind of empty towards the end here. Yeah. So we can take this, extrude it in. Any DLC? Guys, we have 3 days to make the thing. It's just for fun. If people like the game, or if we think it turns out well, we might expand on it later. Who knows? Right now, we're just making a simple, stupid game in 72 hours, and we have people on the art. Some other artists from Theory are doing the characters and the environment. My main job, other than making the squirt gun in the hands, is programming. I'm doing all the logic for the game. Any wager tournaments? I don't know what you mean by that. 0.21. That's the number we wanted. Cool. Yeah, there we go. What will the environment be like? I know what I told them to make, or I told them I would like to see. But what we actually end up with will probably end up being completely different. That's the beauty of working on a team. This looks pretty cool. I'm alright with this for a simple, super fast project. Maybe we could. I have an idea. Don't try this at home, kids. Booleans are dumb. What if we had like some indents? So we can. So this. Yeah. So we can take this. Like so. We don't want it to go in too far, I don't think. But far enough. Like, let's see. What YouTubers do I watch? A lot. In terms of live streaming, mostly Nick. In terms of other stuff, a lot. Let's try that. And then we can say Q C/. And that'll cut it out. Like so. Then we can... One, two, three, four. And then we don't want that to be beveled quite so much. Oh, this would... Oh my god, that's annoying. Can you do a quick Q&A? Will there be any items you can get? Maybe as a stretch goal. We want to keep things... Again, guys, we have 72 hours. That's an extremely short amount of time to make a full game. So, again, keep it simple. Goal number 1 is get something working. Period. There we go. Fix that one. Now I gotta fix the rest of this, which is gonna be these little buggers. You can ask me whatever you want, Eduardo. Oh man, that's a mess. Make a Roblox game. Nah. Alright. So now, this is where it gets tricky. Biggest goal in life? I don't have any. I sort of stopped caring about life after the whole heart surgery thing. There's just no point in it all. They're gonna be Easter eggs if we have time. I just want to see how this looks after I apply some bevels to it. What are you even doing awake still, Richard? Isn't Shay asleep by now? It's a little weird. I don't like the stripes. And if we do like the stripes, then I can add them later in textures. No reason to kill myself over that. It's too much effort for modeling. You're hacking LDJam for me. Don't do it. I think we can add another little smaller connection point here. What did Richard say? They have their source code on GitHub. I'm gonna turn Nightbot off. I'm tired of him banning people. Nope. Okay. Spam protection. Disable, disable. Okay. Nightbot shouldn't ban anybody anymore. I don't like this like empty space. That'll work. Yeah, just adding extra little things. When will I do the hands? I was hoping to tonight, but I don't think that's gonna happen, so probably tomorrow. Hands are gonna be challenging. Ah. Because I also have to unwrap this gun so we can take it into Substance Painter and texture it. I think it looks good enough for now. It looks like a gun. We can put a hole at the end of that and texturing. So anyway, how you texture stuff is first you have to unwrap it, which is the process of taking a 3D object and laying it out in 2D space so you can take a 2D texture and wrap it around your 3D object. Yeah, I think it looks fine. I think we can take it into texturing. They ever feel like a plastic bag? Nice Katy Perry. So we'll save this as iteration 2, and we're going to start unwrapping, which means... So let's start with the tank, I guess. That's the easiest probably. And how I like to unwrap things is take one thing at a time. We'll get rid of our spike, put that on a trash layer. Take one thing at a time, unwrap it, put it on the next layer. Take another thing, unwrap it, put it on the next layer, just so we don't miss anything. Then we have to combine it all. Then we take it into Substance Painter. So this doesn't have any modifiers applied to it. If you watch over here, and we select... We unwrapped it, but there are no seams, so this looks awful. So we can cut off the ends right here. And then we can cut a seam right there. And there's another cool thing. If you go to options and you go to live unwrap and tag seam, every time you cut a seam, it'll automatically update your UV sheet. So if I just hit mark seam, now it's all unwrapped. And the cylindrical pieces like this and this, we want to cut additional seams so they spread out. And to prevent issues later, we want to triangulate anything that's not triangulated. Cool, that looks good enough. Move that down a layer. What's next? Work on one of these. And these ones are easy. We can just do one of these numbers. And one of these numbers. Cool, those are unwrapped. They're not perfect because of the edges, but which is actually a really easy fix. We can just say W line Y, 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 W line X. Uh-oh. Ooh. Oh, right, okay. W Linux, 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 W Linux. I'm not gonna keep saying it. It's boring. Could have done both sets at the same time, honestly. Just select both sets of verticals and aligned X. Would have been better. A lot of people hate unwrapping just because it's so tedious. I think it's kind of relaxing. Okay, that's done. So now we can take the rings. Oh yeah, we can see it rendered with shadows and stuff. We'll look at it again after we texture it rendered. You can take this tube. If you have a curve object like this, we want to make a backup of that just in case we want to come back to it. We can just hit Alt-C, and that'll create a mesh from it. Then we can cut right here, unwrap. Looks good. Put it on layer. Take this. We don't have to be super careful about the unwrapping. Substance Painter saves us a lot of work in terms of knowing where things are on the UV sheet and whatnot. This, we can save some UV space by shortening it to where it just collides. Apply the bevel. Cut off the end cap. Wait, did I? Oh, I didn't, did I? Mark seam. Mark seam. Unwrap. Looks good. Triangulate. Move it down. This is an interesting process. It's an important process. It's tedious and boring, but it's important. These we can bevel, I think, and then the hard connections we don't want to bevel. What's up, Ainsley? How are you? I do remember you. Feels like an ASMR video. Weird. Okay, so then we can apply the bevel, but we don't want to apply the mirror, or else we'll have to do twice as much work. Yeah, so we can cut out the caps, like so. Mark the seam, unwrap. It'll give us some weird results, and there's good reasons for that. Also, we don't need these additional faces. So you kill your own people, but you do it to fight monsters because it's the only way to kill them. Yeah, so you kill your own people because if you don't kill the monsters, then they're going to eat more people than you would have to kill. So you have to sacrifice the few for the good of the many. Oh man, we do not need this many subdivisions on this cylinder right here. We can get away with 16 easy. So we'll just delete every other edge loop. That's why it's good to start high res and then move to low res, because it's way harder to move to high res from low res. And up close, it's going to look lower res, but from a distance, nobody's ever going to know the difference. Ever. Okay, great. That looks good. So then we can cut these two edges. And that'll cut out the cylinders and do the same thing for these ones. You have no idea what's going on. I'm taking a 3D object and flattening it out into 2D space, Abrado. So picture this like it's made out of cardboard or poster board or something. You'd have to cut out specific shapes and then fold them over to create the 3D object. We're just doing the opposite of that. We're taking the 3D object, cutting it apart, and flattening it out so that we can add an image texture to it to give it color. Yeah, so the reason we didn't mirror it across is because if we apply the mirror now, unwrap, we just saved half the work. Man, I'm tired. It is 3:15 a.m. And we're gonna try to get this into Substance and get some basic plastic materials on it before I go to bed, though. And then I can work on the hand tomorrow. So this one right here, I can go ahead and apply that bevel. Which normally I would lower the resolution of the bevel, but since this is going to be so close to the player, we want it to be nice and high res. And there aren't going to be too many objects on screen at once, so the 90 frames per second goal of VR should not be that difficult. So that's unwrapped. We can move that down. Remember you, Beefy Ramen, I do. NoahCon 2021. The straw, which we have stupidly decided to add thickness to, but I want it. I want the thickness. We don't need the bevel. I do think we want to rotate, or at least like, yeah, there we go. There we go. Because it was creating a weird shape. So we can just sort of cut this edge. The gun will be something next to you that you can pick up to use, because you're going to have to multitask. You're going to have to put the gun down occasionally to pick up creatures and stuff to make them reproduce. Oh yeah, that's another game mechanic. To keep your population moving, you're going to have to take 2 creatures and... Well, first of all, you have to feed them monster parts because they can't reproduce if they're not full. But then you're going to have to take the 2 monsters and smash them together to reproduce them. I'm gonna have to. You don't know what game I'm playing. I'm not playing a game right now. NoahCon 2021. I'm making a game from scratch. We have 72 hours or 3 days to make an entire game from scratch. They don't reproduce in your hands. They're gonna explode out. I'll reproduce. It'll make a few new ones. It'll be hectic and interesting and weird. Okay, straw's done. Now we have this whole shape. Which I think what we want to do is... I don't know if I want to bake these in as normal maps. See, the problem... Okay, so the problem with normal maps... so on a monitor, on your computer screen or your Xbox screen, when you see something that looks bumpy, like maybe gravel or dirt or something in a video game, that's all done using an image texture that tells the game, hey, make this look bumpy. That's called a normal map. Problem with those... When I do Fortnite, I have 50 views. Now I got 12. It varies from 5 to 50 when I do Fortnite Noah. And it's also 3:18 a.m. And... views don't matter to me. I'm doing this for fun. Anyway, so there's an image texture that makes an object look bumpy when it's not actually bumpy. That's called a normal map. The problem with that in VR is in VR you have 2 eyes, so you can see parallax. You can see depth on things, and a normal map does not actually create depth. It just fakes the lighting to make it look bumpy. So, since we're going to be holding this up close to our face, we probably actually want the bumps to be there rather than faking it. If it was at a distance, it wouldn't matter. It would be far enough away to where the player would be like, oh, that gun is bumpy. But if it's close up to you like this, I think we want to keep the bumps. Yeah. So... I guess we'll apply the bevels. I think that's plenty of subdivisions. Have I played Red Dead 2 yet? I've not, Hunter. I'm gonna wait for it on PC. I'm patient. I am a patient boy. We're gonna add like plastic seams and stuff here too. Oh, look how perfectly theirs melds in though. That looks nice. Oh well, that's not ours. We can add like little plastic seams or stuff in textures to make it look a little bit more natural, I think. Yeah. So, we will Apply. Make a XXX game. I'm good. I'm good. No, sir. Oh, yeah, we can even turn the subdivisions down some. Doesn't really make a huge difference. Okay. This is going to be an interesting challenge to unwrap. Want to know something funny? Sure. Why not? Enlighten me. You just woke up? Holy moly. Alright, so this object right here, if we unwrap it, you're gonna notice we need to cut a seam somewhere. So we'll cut right here. And that will give us that nice shape. Right here, I think we can cut around this edge. This gets a little bit trickier. I think what we're going to want to do so you can hit Shift H to hide everything except the object that you have selected, which can save you a lot of time. So if we cut out the cap like that, that's pretty clean. Then I think if we just cut along here, that'll be pretty clean. And same on the other side. Ooh, wow, how did that end up all the way over there? Did the other side do that? It did. Interesting. That's not quite what I was hoping for. Oh, I guess it matches. Yeah, I guess it matches. Fine. Imagine how long it took to make Fortnite. They have massive teams working on that stuff, but it's still impressive, definitely. It just goes to show nothing can... Yeah. How do you like the steak? Medium rare. Alright, yeah, so if we cut that out, that works. Not perfect, but it's one of those good enough scenarios. And then we can cut out, just so it makes it easier to apply materials here, we're going to cut out these little handle pieces as well. This isn't good enough for a game jam sort of moment. Looks like a scanning thing like at Walmart. Oh, yeah, without all the extra stuff. For sure. I see that. So now if we hit unwrap, we have all that stuff unwrapping. Do you remember you? I remember your name. So now we can take this guy and cut off that part. Have I made merch before? What do you made this shirt for my game. I didn't sell it though. The shirt, the game's for sale. So I think we're gonna want to cut around this cap, maybe like right here. And we can. So it's hard to see where seams are sometimes because they're covered up by other edge effects. Can you play my game when it's done? If you have a VR headset like an Oculus Rift or an HTC Vive, you can. It's going to get limiting in the sense that it's a VR game, but in the end, I think it's worth it. I like VR. Okay. Why is that curving around like that? That's weird. Man. I'm doing angle based or conformal. Ooh, conformal came up with weirder result. Oh, no. Conformal looks better. Oh. Oh, it's connected. That's why. Where is that connected? Right, you can see where it's connected right here. We can just select the edge. Bam. And bam. Oh no, I missed. It's that one. No? There we go. That works. Now I just have this guy. Is it a water gun? Kind of. It shoots like juices from your children that you murdered or sacrificed. This is a dark game. This isn't supposed to be beveled like that. We're just gonna have to fix it manually. Which, as you can tell, was clearly a very big problem. So hard to fix. You got your coffee? Let's go. Man, I'm gonna go to bed soon. I can't stay up all night. I need to get a good night's sleep if I'm gonna be able to focus on the programming stuff tomorrow. I just want to get this in Substance Painter before I go to bed. Alright, this is where it's gonna get a little bit tricky. So, we're gonna cut all these out, I think. Maybe if we select these faces, then I got a trick. Watch. Go to vertice mode, unselect everything. Except for what we want. And we can go to edge mode and then deselect even more. Sometimes this can be a challenge if you have really complicated geometry. It's like a puzzle, though. You just have to figure out the puzzle. It shoots juice from your children. FBI, open up. No, not children. You're a god, and you have created a civilization of creatures. So you have to sacrifice your creatures and use their juices to kill demons. It's super weird. I'm not denying that. It's gonna be really fun, though. Alright, so we have this fancy shape, which look how ugly that is. So I think to flatten this out a little bit more. Oh my goodness, that's so ugly. Wow. It's 9:30 in Denmark. Wow. FBI, we're still here. It'll be a fun game. It'll be fun if we get it working in time. 3 days is really short. It's not a lot of time. We have to get some serious stuff done tomorrow to get this done on time. I'm very tired, if you couldn't tell. This is unwrapping poorly. Let's clear those seams. We definitely still need the seam there. Oh wait, we wanna Alt-H. Hide all that. And clear these seams. Mark seams, unwrap. And then maybe if we just sort of cut along here to flatten it out more. And then you can cut the cap off. That's a lot better. It's in at almost 4 a.m. It is, Arnolfo. I'm trying to get this into Substance Painter. It's because I went to play Fortnite. Okay, so I'm balancing two things this weekend. I have to do the game jam, but I also need to hit level 100 in Fortnite before Tuesday. So it's going to be really challenging. So if these are n-gons, it means they have more than 4 sides, or 3 sides, so we can just triangulate these. And it'll give us better deformation on our UV sheet. A little bit. Yeah, that's stretching. Cool, looks fine to me. So we can take all this, unwrap it, maybe make it conformal for everything, and then select this guy. Say unwrap and do angle based, and then we can check out the area of all these faces and scale this down until it's all blue. Or close enough. Again, we're just going to add some simple plastic shaders to this stuff. Did Epic not end up extending time on each one of them? They did. They did. But who knows, with this season, they have more money than they ever did, so they could have actually gotten it done on time this time. Alright, that looks fine. So, put that there. Now we have this tube to unwrap. We don't need this additional face right here because that collides into geometry. We can, these are some pretty tight bevels, so we can turn this down to 2 splits instead. And apply. Cut, 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 cut. Oh wait, we don't need to cut there. Cut. Ooh, that's accidentally beveled. And we'll cut those. Then we'll shit. By the way, this is not a family-friendly stream. Doubles. Mark that seam. Same here. Mark those seams. We missed something, so let's take a look at that. Oh, did we not cut right here? We did not. Cool. Chris, you're on your other account typing, then you realized I never unbanned it. I don't know what your other account is. You love God games like Black and White, so you're really into this game. It'll be interesting. Again, it's a game jam game, guys. It's going to be really rough around the edges. You can be the god that eats babies. Maybe we can add an Easter egg to that effect later. That looks fine. Now I just have the trigger to unwrap, and then we can join them all together, unwrap them again, and then run the automatic UV packer, and then take it into Substance Painter. I think we can make the trigger a little bit thicker. Like that, maybe. We can turn these bevels down because this is such a small object. Apply it. This is gonna be weird to unwrap. Huh. Just cut the caps off, I think. And then, again, this is such a small part of the model. There we go. Cool. So then, I think that's everything. We can come in here. We can take all the objects. Let's go ahead and save our file. Hit Control J to join. Hit unwrap. Everything's on one UV sheet. Can I add you to the game? Your other accounts are Nova Gaming and Pollo Loco. Okay. I can't do it right now because I have too much to get done and I'm in the middle of it, but I'll do it later. Okay, so these two I feel should be conformal. They're just two different unwrap methods. That's all that means. One maintains like the hard surface shape better and one doesn't, and you just have to test and see which one suits your needs better for the specific situation. Anyway, it's yeah, that'll work. And then we have this guy right here, which was fine angle based. Oh yeah, I think we want to unwrap everything conformal and then take him and make him angle based. And we can rotate that minus 90. Alright, so now we got everything scaled pretty much correctly for each other. I look tired as fudge. I am tired as fudge. I'm really need to go to bed, but I also need to get this gun finished, or at least into Substance Painter. So we have this shot packer, which will automatically take all of these islands and fit them together to the best of its ability. Because how this works is, this is our gun, flattened out. We took it, we cut it apart, and turned it into like a paper cutout essentially. So now we can apply a 2D image texture to the 3D object. That's how texturing works in 3D. It's something in engineering, like my UV sheet, but it's called nesting. That's cool. So, notice how we have all of this extra space where there are no paper cutouts. That's wasted space on the texture sheet. So there's this plugin that I have that runs an algorithm to try to fit all these puzzle pieces together to the best of their ability to fill the space to the best of its ability. We're going to put it at 100 iterations. We'll say the margin, which is how thin in between islands it can be. Put that at 0.1. And we'll hit start pack and see what it does. You work in the kitchen, patty flippers for life. Ah, that's an important job though. Burgers are delicious. You can see the packing percent right there. And it'll just take its time and it'll try to figure out everything and fit it all together to the best of its ability. And it could fail. We have to mess with the parameters. It's a trial and error process. Dear God, that's taking forever. You're looking into culinary schools for college. That would be badass. That'd be really cool. I wish I could cook well. I can cook all right. I can cook edible food, not good food. Oh, man. Oh, it's going. It's thinking. Just gotta give it some time. I used to have to manually try to figure all this out. It's way easier to hit a button and have the computer do it for you, and it does a better job, if I'm being honest. You're going to join the military. That's an important job, too. My brother was in the Navy for a while, until he hit his head and got amnesia and got discharged. Which probably all turned out for the best, honestly. I think he's happy now. Oh my God, what is he doing? Oh, why isn't this actually packing? It's stuck at 22%, it looks like. Oh, what's up, Richard? I'm really tired. I saw your picture of the hacks. I don't know what any of that means. I have no idea what any of this means, Richard. Also, why is this stuck at 22? I'm gonna hit escape. Oh, I think it's frozen. Like the musical. Oh, there we go. Cool. Let's put it back down to 50 and see if it actually progresses. And we can show detailed perimeters too. I think the plugin doesn't want to work. Give me a second. Let's see what's going on. That did a good enough job, I think. Maybe we can try using the shot packer again. Now that we have this packed. Why does it always... I'm going to try restarting Blender. We'll save. And we'll launch Blender. Open it up. Start pack. This is not a bad pack, honestly, that the software by default did. The plugin generally does a better job when it actually works. Oh my goodness. I wonder if I should just leave this, go to bed, come back tomorrow and see if it worked. Saw that Minecraft, yeah. I don't play it. I haven't played it in years. Other than I tried Minecraft in VR a couple times a couple years ago, and that was pretty cool. The mod that the community made, though, not the official Minecraft VR, because that's kind of lame. Stay up? No, I need sleep, Richard. I am so tired. I didn't get much sleep last night either. I need to wake up tomorrow so I can actually get back to work on this. Anyway, I'm just going to export it as is, since y'all were asking about color. Just to show you. I'm going to leave the packing going tomorrow and redo the textures, but y'all were asking about color, so I figured I would at least show you. So we can say file, export, FBX, zup works, selected objects, face, don't apply modifiers. And we just do squirt gun .fbx underscore substance. And hit OK. Go into substance painter, continue anyway. Sleep is for the weak. I'm weak. Hunter Miller. I'll be back tomorrow. No. Next. Finish. Close. So we can do file, new. It's going to bring up a little dialog box unless it crashes. There we go. Then we can select our file. I want to go to projects. Nope. Documents. Game design. Blah blaster. Squirt gun. Asset. Document resolution 2048. We want 2K textures. Hit OK. And that brings our thing in here. Y'all are asking about color. So now we have all these different physically based materials that we can use on our gun and modify. So let's say we want it to be a glossy plastic. We can just come over to our layers, drag in some glossy plastic. And we have a glossy plastic gun. And the tank is probably going to be more of a matte plastic. And we can change the color of these. So let's say we want this to be orange like our reference. We can just take it and make that orange. But now everything's matte plastic because we haven't applied a mask to it. So we can now say we want to apply this only to the tank. And now we have like a shiny thing. Pretty cool though. Obviously, we're going to put a lot more effort into this. What's really cool about Substance Painter, though, I'll just show you before I go to bed. You liked and subscribed. I appreciate it, Richard. Is you can add stuff like rust or dirt really easily. And then they have these things called smart masks. So you can add it like only in the crevices or only on the corners. So if we do concrete edges, we have to bake our texture, sorry. So we have to bake the mesh maps, including ambient occlusion. We don't want to ignore back facing. Bake. Give that a second so it can figure out. By the way, can you cuss? Yeah, this isn't a family-friendly stream this weekend, pro gaming. Yeah, so now it knows where all the edges are and stuff, and you can apply stuff only to the edges. Or my personal favorite is the dirt generator. And you can mess with the settings, obviously, like turn the level down or up. You can make it super dirty. This is why Substance Painter is so powerful, though. Because it knows your model. It knows where all the curvature and stuff is. And then maybe we want like a metal. Maybe this is a metal tube right here. We can go to our smart materials. We can grab some like maybe some stained steel. Add a mask and then apply it only to this object. Make it rainbow. We're redoing the UVs anyway. We're gonna pack them better using this if it ever actually does anything. Let's see if it actually goes past 22%. And when I was talking about normal maps, what that means is like, let's say I wanted to add a layer, I can have it only affect the height. Then I can say it's going to indent. Then I can add a black mask. Now if I paint here, the object looks bumpy to the light, but it's not actually bumpy if you look at the silhouette. So we could potentially come in here and just say we want some stripes. Without any extra effort, it looks pretty good. Can you make it clear? We're not going to be able to do that for this Game Hunter. Transparency is very expensive on the processor, and for VR, it has to render it once for each eye, so that gets really complicated. Yeah, there we go. There's shaders people have done that can handle that, though. I'd love to know how they accomplished it. Let's see. Fluid tank shader. Unreal. Fluid animated material. Fortunately, there are tons of how-to videos. Oh, that's an ugly one. I don't. There are ways to do it. I don't know what those ways are. Good night, Arnolfo. Thanks for stopping by. You're gonna delete my competition. Don't do it, Richard. I want to play their games too. When are we gonna start the next stream? Whenever I wake up and get to work. It's gonna be a pretty non-stop weekend other than sleeping. Let's see if it actually packed at all in Blender. It's still stuck at 22%. I wonder if it's gonna finish or not. Anyway, I'm gonna call the stream there. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll be back tomorrow most of the day.